Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back with another edition of 95X Live, and this time we get to chat with the boys from Good Neighbors. It's Ollie and Scott joining us today. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to do this today.
Having a
Second of all, congratulations on the success of the single Home. It's approaching 300 million streams. Uh, how does that feel, given the fact that I know that this was kind of I don't know, kind of an off the cuff thing for you guys, a collaboration that sort of happened by accident to a degree with you guys being neighbors in a studio. How does all of this success feel now that you're sort of in the midst of it?
Yeah, feels like we created a monster with it accidentally. It's cool. We kind of yeah, can't believe it. We check in every now and then and look at the streams, and we're like, nah, surely not.
Yeah.
It's incredible to me that the world has wrapped their arms around you so tightly, given American radio's disdain for things that get their start in the social media space like TikTok, and the fact that you guys have had so much success in that space teasing the single Home. So much so that like I was so excited for the song, having found it on a playlist, and prior to your record deal, sourcing that single to get it on the air was daunting. But we finally got it. And now, like some of us who were early believers are being proven right that you guys are an absolute force. So, congratulations on all the success. I adore everything that you guys have released. It's all larger than life and super anthemic and cinematic in a way that a lot of things sort of aren't anymore, right? Like pop music has become sort of like vapid and maybe I don't know, like puddle depth, where you guys seem to have a real sense of self, and there's an honesty and an authenticity to the lyrical content of your music that I think is really one of the biggest connecting points to your audience.
Thank you, man. I think like we're lucky enough to have had a little bit of time before we started this band working in the industry and like writing for other people. So I think we got to see what was connecting for a while and what was connecting for a short time. And I think that overarching theme of just being real. And no matter if it was like a small moment, there's ways you can blow it up and still make it a big song. And I think like Home was this tiny moment that happened for me personally. And then with Scott's production, just a bit more work, we made it this like big song that people have obviously connected to, and it's had way more of a worldwide impact than we could have really ever imagined.
Absolutely. And I see this trend, and you guys are a part of it, where the production of the tracks or the art, the music is happening within sort of the confines of the artistry, of the band, of the collaboration, whatever you want to call it. And I'm seeing that those things tend to work better and more quickly and effectively and connect with an audience. Is there sort of a freedom that you think exists in keeping it all in-house and not having sort of a third voice or this overlord sort of like coming through the speaker in the studio instructing you what to do?
Yeah, definitely. I think for us, like the production on a lot of the stuff we do is kind of just like trying to get it down as quickly as we can before we lose the like inspiration of why we're starting it. So like a lot of it is just we're doing it because it's the quickest thing we can do. Like we're using like iPhone mics for a lot of the drums and guitars and stuff, just because it's like the nearest thing we have. So yeah, we try to definitely not overthink any of that stuff and just yeah keep it as raw as possible.
Yeah.
Well, I think it gives it a sense of urgency, right? That it's happening in this moment. And I think those things create a more palpable space for an audience to connect to an artist, because ultimately when it happens in the moment, that authenticity really amps up to a point where they're feeling what you're feeling, because you're rolling tape on a very early idea that then becomes this sort of living breathing creature that is the end result, the song, the art, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we just want people to be able to hear us as well in the recordings. Like
Mm.
it's all done so DIY that you can hear our like old room that we made everything in. Feels like you're in the room with us.
It's real. Yeah.
And there's a huge charm to that that I absolutely adore. And you've actually got a new single that's out and streaming everywhere that I fell in love with, called Daisies. Now that you guys have 3 singles out, a couple of live things, I know you guys did the espresso cover as well. I did read somewhere that you guys have sort of like this backlog of songs that are ready for the world. Is there any sort of like loose plan for an album, an EP, or like an official release for Good Neighbors?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're currently working on our album now. We've been dusting off a lot of tunes because obviously we were sort of in our own little world when we started to create last like August. Um, and tunes like Daisies and Keep It Up were already then coming out. And they were part of the plan, but Home was never part of the plan. So it's been this like almost 6 month delay of just going around playing like the songs that people spreading my name out there. And we're finally having some downtime between shows. We've got a lot of songs. So we're going through the it feels like we've got a good album for next year.
Very cool. And you mentioned shows. This weekend looks like it's going to be a big one for you with both Reading and Leeds. With both of you guys growing up with that festival being paramount in, everybody's sort of mind. How awesome is it to be able to go and play both of those festivals? Because for those that don't know, like Americans for the most part, like I would compare Reading and Leeds to like Lollapalooza or Riot Fest in the States. These are just these massive things with tens or hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, I have to assume that there's probably a little bit of nervous energy getting ready for this weekend. How excited are you guys to unveil Good Neighbors to both Reading and Leeds?
Yeah, I mean, we can't really believe we're playing, especially the stage we're playing. We're like,
It's a big one.
playing. Yeah, it's going to be our biggest show yet for sure. But all the festivals around here like mean a lot to us. Like we did Boardmasters recently, and there's one around the corner in London called All Points East, and like they're all ones that we grew up to. So it's cool just ticking these things off for sure.
Very cool. Well, there's been some rumors that you guys are going to be coming stateside this fall, playing places like LA, New York City, Toronto. I've heard rumors. I've yet to be able to actually like catch any video footage because you guys are so really, really new. But all things that I found online say that you guys in the live setting are one of the most bombastic and energetic bands to come out of the UK in a very long time. For people that aren't really aware of what you guys do in that live setting, can you give them a little idea of what experiencing Good Neighbors in the flesh is really like?
Yeah, it's a fun one. I think we grew up with bands like Friendly Fires here in the UK, and like Bowls and people that just give you this like sweaty, visceral gig that you can't forget. So we've been desperate to try and emulate some of those performances. I always say it looks like a house party on stage because we're a group of mates. There's like 5 of us, and we started out here playing pubs. So I feel like we're good at getting the room rocking, and we get everyone involved, which is very good. So expect a lot of energy, a lot of bad dancing, and a lot of chances. That's the main part for us.
Very cool. So it looks like this weekend you're gonna probably have the world's biggest house party at both Reading and Leeds.
Apparently, that would be great.
Very cool. Well, gentlemen, congratulations once again on the success of Home. I think it's just the beginning of you guys taking over the world. I'm looking very forward to what comes next for you. And hopefully, when you guys come stateside, we can connect and I'll finally get to see that Good Neighbors set live.
That'd be
Thanks,
great.
man.
Awesome. Ollie and Scott, thank you so much for your time today. And here's to some continued success for Good Neighbors.
Thanks, Scott. Cheers, man.
Cheers.